Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Cosplayers Paradigm. I am joined today with someone a little bit different. Normally, we have the typical cosplayer, the extravagant cosplayer, professional or amateur, but this time we're going on a whole different spectrum of cosplay into the furry community. And today we have with me Monty, Mint the Peppermint Cat. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So, we always like to go ahead and get it started, of course, like how you got into it. But in your case, you went ahead and had your standard of how I got into cosplay and a transition to something that's actually been more special to you. So let's go ahead and start with how you got into cosplay and then where you're at now.
Well, I'd say my love for Halloween is what got me into cosplay. I just got older, and after high school, I started seeing a bunch of conventions around town, and I was like, hey, I know I'm in between because I'm pretty much in the Wichita, Kansas area. So I was able to go down to Oklahoma and go up to Kansas City. I was like, hey, I know a bunch of conventions up there in Kansas City and a bunch down in Oklahoma. Let's start doing this cosplay thing and see how it goes. And I fell in love with it ever since.
And from there, what was your transition to how you are now in the furry community?
How I became a furry? Well, like I've said to a lot of people, I was a cosplayer for 10 years and I did a bunch of random cosplays here and there. But the ones that really kind of like were my favorite was Ash Ketchum from Pokemon, Luigi from Super Mario Brothers, and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. But none of them really hit. Like I never really had people come up to me and say, "Hey, cool, that's a good cosplay," or want pictures with me. And I almost quit after 10 years, and I stepped back. I stepped back from doing it all, and I was like, "Hey, I don't want to quit. Let's take some time and think about it. Let's do one more cosplay change, and if that doesn't work, then I can really think about hanging it up." And I was like, "Well, I like cats, and what is it?" I was like, I could do something kitty catish, but I was like, what is something that people aren't really doing in my area? And I was like, well, the furries don't get out. I'm like, that's what I can do. I can. I was thinking cat. I like cats because I've had cats all my life, and I was thinking, well, green's my favorite color. And I was looking around, and I found somebody on Etsy that made furries, and I gave them an idea, and they just went with it from there, and that's how Monty Mint the Peppermint Cat was born.
Okay. So you went ahead and got yours commissioned.
Yes, I did from somebody on Etsy. They don't do it anymore because they had a life altering uh, experience go on, and they got out of doing it. And I've just had since I've been doing it for going on my third year. I've had a lot of people go, "Hey, if you ever need help, if you ever need paws, or if you ever need the head fixed, or you need another head, or you need another bodysuit or feet, we got you." So I got people that can help me out.
That's cool. Definitely worth it, especially in the community like that, having people go ahead and collaborate, help out. It's a good thing.
Yep, I love it. I wouldn't be doing anything else but cosplay if it wasn't for Monty. I don't know what else I'd be doing.
That is fair. I mean, life is diverse on many different levels, and when you find something that you're passionate about, it's hard to go ahead and say, you know what? No, I'm going to put this up. You
Oh
know,
yeah, because I go out. I'm probably one of the only cosplayers in Wichita that actually gets out besides from the convention scene. Like I do, there's a little event in Wichita they do 3 times a year, and they block off like 2 miles of road. It's called ICT. It's called Open Streets ICT, and it's a bunch of vendors, and then it's a bunch of food trucks. Monty gets out every time they do one.
nice. Now, getting out in the community like that, what would you say is some of your favorite events that you've done?
Uh, outside of the conventions, I would say the Asian they do. There's a guy that owns Feng Cha Tea in Wichita. He does he does like a little Asian event. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but he does one. I love doing that one because I get to try a bunch of like Asian food, and then I love the Open Streets ICT.
Nice. Okay. Bring back to the community. Go ahead and actually make it out there. Get around with the people. Just have fun.
And I'm always looking for something new to do. Like every year, I want to get out there and try something new, like a new convention or a new event.
I saw you had a nice little list of conventions you're doing this year.
Oh yeah, I started really big last year, doing a lot to try and get my name out there, and this year I'm just doing a bunch more of those, and then I'm doing some that I haven't done yet. Like my biggest one this year, I'm actually traveling myself out to Dallas, Texas for Fan Expo this year.
Nice.
And one of my buddies last year went up to Colorado and did the
Okay.
Fan Expo in Colorado. So he told me that it's like twice the size of the Planet Comic Con in Kansas City. So he's like, be prepared. You probably won't see everything in the 3 days that you're gonna be there.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's pretty large, but honestly, unless you're stopping at everything, then I'd say he's correct. But if you're just cruising and checking things out and then
Yeah,
deciding to stop only at the main stuff that you want, you could probably get through it in 3 days.
yeah,
Just get through it.
right. Because I've never
So
been to a Fan Expo, and everybody tells me, man, you need to get out to one. Monty would do good there.
neither have I. However, I've been told that Fan Expo and GalaxyCon are fairly close in size. And I did go to a GalaxyCon, and I have to say that was enormous.
Oh, I've been to the two that Oklahoma has had so far. Like I was
Okay.
years ago, and I was last year. And last year, I don't know if you know who Mickey James is. She's a WWE pro wrestler. She put me
Yes,
up all
yes.
over Instagram, and
Very nice.
she told me that Monty was her favorite cosplay from that weekend, and she said that Monty was her favorite furry.
That's amazing. Yeah, I saw a
So
few of the photos that you had right there with some wrestlers, including
yeah,
Gangrel.
I don't know if you know who Linda Young is. She's
Yes, I
the
do.
voice. Yeah, she's the voice of Frieza. She came to Wichita, and she put me up on her Facebook.
That's brilliant.
So I don't like to brag, but I've been put up on two really sought after celebrities pages.
Why not? I mean, there's nothing wrong with bragging as long as you're being a little bit humble about it. Besides, not too many people can say that where a celebrity has said, you know what? I need a picture with you.
Because it was funny. I went up. I was just walking around that Saturday of GalaxyCon this year or last year,
Hmm.
and Mickey James came in on that Saturday, and I like when you're wearing the head on a furry, it's kind of hard to hear and kind of hard to see if you're not used to it. And being in that type of situation, like with all the people walking around and all the noise, it's kind of hard to hear. But I heard her, and I thought it was her. She yelled out, "I love that cosplay!" before I even got to hear. And then I waited because she had a long line in there for a good while. I waited till she didn't have anybody, and we talked for like 30 minutes. But after I got my Intercontinental Championship signed by her, we were taking pictures, and her assistant said, or she told her assistant, "Hey, grab my phone. I need pictures of this."
Oh, I'm gonna definitely have to look at her Insta right there to go ahead and check that out.
Yeah.
Now, I had a similar experience here recently, back in November. So here in Grand Rapids, I went to the Grand Rapids Comic Con, and I'm dressed up as Sergeant Slaughter from GI Joe or wrestling, depending which way you want to go. You know, but I'm walking by, and all of a sudden I hear someone yell, "Hey, Sarge, you need to come over here!" And I turn over, and it is the suit actor, the martial artist Ken Scott, that was Raphael in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live-action movies.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, wait a minute, I was already going to come and see you, but now you're calling me to you. Oh, yes, we're going.
Oh yeah, by far.
So, but yeah, it was an awesome experience there. I mean, who would have expected one of them to yell out right there, like, "Hey, Dudu, come here!"
Oh yeah, right.
So yeah, it's one of my little smiling moments right there that happened
Oh,
to me.
mm.
Now, with the different cons that you've gone to right there, to the ones that you're actually planning on going to,
Oh
there's going
yeah.
to be definitely something different. But you mentioned about having the difficulty to be able to hear and see. So my question is, are you going to have someone come with you to be like a handler to maybe help you out in the future?
Like I've gotten used to it over the past couple of years. Like I can
Right.
see. I just have to watch out. I have to look everywhere. I have to see all my surroundings. Like when I'm walking around, I have to turn my head every which way to see everybody. Like a lot of people watch out for me because they know who I am. So
Well, that's good though.
and they know that you got to watch out for the furries more than anybody because of their heads and their
At,
visibility.
at least in other states, that is the case. Here, I've noticed some people that are in cosplays like that, whether it's a furry or like the reptilian, just something where they have visibility issues. Some people don't care and they will actually just run right in you or in front of you, and it's a little disheartening. But it's not as bad as it used to be, so that's a good thing.
Well, I'll tell you this: my first experience with Monty when I first got him, my first con with him was up in Kansas City. It was Planet Comic Con, and not too many furries got out at that point. And there was one girl that was coming up. I had my BFF. She lives in Missouri, so she comes out to all the Kansas City conventions that I go to, and she
Okay.
was there with me. And she had to tell this girl, "Don't run up to him. You might push him over."
Wow. Okay.
Because I was holding the sign. I was holding the sign at that point because it was my first convention with them. I had a sign that said "free hugs," but now, but now I have this. My BFF made it for me, and it says "free hugs," and it's a necklace that I wear around Monty's head.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe the difference between like regular cosplay and like the furry cosplays? I mean, other than wearing a suit and something different, there's probably a different feel to it, isn't there?
Yeah, I all the cosplays that I've been over the years, 10 years that I was just a regular cosplayer, it wasn't. I'll say this: it wasn't as hot. Like I had more breathability in all these other cosplays than I do a furry. And the one thing that I tell everybody, because they ask me, "Hey, I want to become a furry. How do I get into it?" And the first thing I tell them is, don't deep dive into it like I did. Don't go full suit furry. Start off with the head, paws, tail, and feet. And if you can manage that, then you can keep doing it. But don't get a full suit unless you're really used to like the heat.
Okay, so the heat is actually a lot more so than most cosplays.
Yeah, because my heat is like a sauna, almost like a sauna suit.
Oh, yeah, they'll definitely do it.
Because the black inner lining is almost like a sauna suit.
Wow. And how much
Yeah,
is that? How much would you say you actually spent getting into it?
I've spent so far. I would say now I've spent up to 2,500 on it, but a lot of people are telling me that Monty's a really good one, and they've told me that that's on the low end. And I've looked into it, and a lot of the fursuits to get a full furry are like 3,000 plus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, depending on the qualities itself, you're
Yeah,
basically looking at about 2 to 5 grand.
yeah. The only reason that I haven't spent as much as most people do on him is because he's gotten so popular that people just put their name out there because I know that if they get their name out there with me and they've done a piece of Monty, that maybe people will look at them and go, "Hey, they made a good piece. Let's go see what else we can make."
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I
So
can't say that.
I get people's names out there if they make a piece of Monty for me or help me fix a piece.
Very cool. Now, of course, we've been talking about the suit. However, for anyone out there, if you'd like to see it, this is what we're looking at.
Yep, that's Monty.
And of course, I've seen there's a few different variations between like a vest, the goggles. Oh, look, there we go.
Yeah, there's Monty's head. I thought I'd have it with me to where people can see it.
Nice.
And really, I actually have a couple things going on today too. After this interview, at 3, I'm going up to a flea market in Wichita. I got a friend who has a booth, and he was like, I think it was last week. He told me, "Hey, you should come out one of these weekends and do your furry thing and hand out your bracelets and whatnot and take pictures with people," because he thought that with me being there, it might gain some traction and get people looking at his booth as well.
Yeah, that makes sense, you know.
And that's going to be from 3 to 6. And then Monty gets out. There's a place in Wichita called The Warehouse, and it's presented by a group called Tribal Roots. They do EDM music, and Monty gets out every so often whenever he's not doing a convention and they have a show. He's out there dancing. So I got a show tonight at 7 that I'm going to go to.
Very cool.
So I try to get out as much as possible with him because that's my favorite thing in the world. I love it. I wouldn't, if I would, like I said, if I wasn't doing him, I don't know what I would be doing.
No, that's fair. You know, getting out and actually enjoying it is definitely a good thing. I myself have difficulty trying to do that because, you know, between work, money, having to figure things out right there, it makes it difficult. But I have been able to get out there. I mean, I've been to Wisconsin, been down to Ohio, Illinois, all over Michigan, you know, but I'm looking to try to go ahead and get out there a little bit more.
So let me ask you this. Sure. Since you've been to all those different states and you've been to a couple conventions here and there, what was your favorite convention you've been to so far?
Oh, turning it around and going ahead and actually asking the host. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
know, it's hard.
What conventions are out there?
It's really hard to say. Each con has its own appeal to it, you know.
Right.
Amke in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That one was really nice because it was a whole different level of cosplayers on stage during the cosplay contest. Seeing that was amazing. Instead of doing your typical, I got there, here I am, how am I doing? They were doing skits. Full-on skits, singing, dancing, everything. And seeing that elaborate was amazing. Going to Hall of Heroes, focusing on a con of superheroes and elements there, that was brilliant on its own right. The feel to it, the way it was put together, that one definitely had a lot of smiles there, you know, and celebrities they brought in, there wasn't many, but it wasn't a small amount either. It was a good number, and it was well-rounded with some great people. Definitely up in Traverse City, there is one called the Cherry Capital Comic Con. The con's small, but the con has such heartfelt feeling between the owner, the showrunner, and everyone else there that it's like a family. You don't feel like you're being pushed around to like, here, you need to see this, you need to see. No, you're done. It was more.
That con sounds like Wichita Con or ICT Con. It's small, and you're not pushed around to try and go see this and that and everything in between.
Yeah, it's definitely one I'm going to go back to again. A couple of the celebrities, I didn't realize I was actually hanging out with them, and the next day when I was over there to go ahead and see them, I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong. I apologize for everyone out there. I'm just not thinking very well, but Ross McQuard. He was the Red Skull in Avengers Endgame. He was on Walking Dead. He did a lot others as well. He's been a voice actor in many shows. I went to go ahead and see him, and he wasn't there at his booth. And next thing I go ahead and I feel a hand on my shoulder. And I turn around, and he's there going, "Hey, how you doing from last night?" And I'm just like, "Oh my God, that was you." He's like, "Yeah." So the
That's
night
how I
before,
feel.
during an after party, we were hanging out a little bit, and I didn't realize it. And then, if anyone's familiar with Ming Chen from the comic book guys, and so he was there too, hanging out. He's like, "Hey, need anything else? Come on, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, you need more?" It was just
I don't know if you know
definitely.
this name, but Jay Coyote. He's the voice of Mewtwo from the first two movies of
Yep,
Pokemon. I'm good friends with him. I met him through my artist buddy Brian Bird, who's a
nice.
watercolor artist. Brian Bird lives down in Claremore, and when I met Brian, there was one show Brian had me come up to Claremore for a show, and I was looking at him I'm like, really, you know? Because he kept on talking about Jay this, Jay that. Jay's one of his good buddies. Well, I got to know Jay, and me, Brian, Jay, Brian's girl Ashley, and then a couple other of Brian's friends that I become friends with as well. We all went out because his girl Ashley works at a place called Habit House, and they do a bunch of home cook style. Uh, they do a bunch of home cook style food, and they have a bakery in the back. Well, Jay was there too, and he was asking me because he doesn't because hardly any of those guys that are down there in Oklahoma, it's a little bit further for some of them to get up to Kansas City, and they know that I go to Kansas City quite a bit, and they were asking about Planet Comic Con and stuff, how it was, and I got a couple of them last year to go up to Planet Comic Con to check it out, and they said they loved it as well.
Nice.
So I can say that I'm friends with Jake Coyote, the voice of Mewtwo.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I even got a couple autographs. I have a Funko Pop signed by him, and I have a Amiibo still in the box signed by him.
Love that. Now, with all the cons all over the place, I mean, it's really hard to go ahead and choose a favorite. I can
Oh yeah,
say I can definitely say there is one that's going to be close to my heart regardless because it was my first actual con that I ever went to, and so far I've not missed it since I've started going to cons. And that's in here from Michigan. It's the Grand Rapids Comic Con. It was my first, and it's one I can't say no to each year just because
yeah.
it, it, it's it's kind of like it's a part of you now, you know?
That's how I feel about ICC Con, and with Monty, that's how I feel about Planet Comic Con up in Kansas City because that was his first one. I have to go every year. I don't care if I only go one day. I go the one day where they have the furry photo meetup.
Gotcha. Yeah, talking about meetups, cons, and everything. Cosplayers Paradigm has been accepted for press to go to the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo
Oh,
C2E2.
that's awesome. You're gonna take pictures and video of all of it, right?
I'm going to be doing pictures. I'm going to do video. I'm going to interview cosplayers. I'm going to do as much coverage as I possibly can. I'm going to see if beforehand, leading up to the show, I would like to get a hold of the actual owner of C2E2 and see if he'd like to go ahead and be on the show, and we can go ahead and talk about it, build it up.
Oh,
Um,
that'd be
Other than that, I've got a couple people that reached out to me and said that they want to connect and collaborate when I get there. So I know at least a couple people were going to go ahead and either do an interview or do something. But anyone watching, anyone who's been there or planning on going, I would really love to do a build up, maybe about a week or two beforehand, maybe even two shows of people who have been to C2E2 that have not been on the show here that are cosplayers. I would love to get your input and talk about it.
and something funny about you. It was funny. I was scrolling on Facebook one day. I was at work. I was on lunch, and I was scrolling down my Facebook, my For You page, and all of a sudden you popped up, and I happened to look into you. And I'm like, oh, that he's like my buddy Wolfio, who does interviews and stuff up in Kansas City. I and he even does. And I was like looking at your page, and I was like, man, he even does he even interviews people and has a Spotify and I think you said you have you do it on Facebook, Spotify, and Instagram.
I've got Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spreaker, Blue Sky, which I'm trying to go ahead and transcend on there. So at least most of the main ones. I
But yeah,
was thinking about getting onto Apple, but that one's been hard for me.
but I had seen it and I was like, man, that'd be cool to do a interview with him.
Hey,
So that's
if you're ever in a con, if you're ever in a con that's nearby where I'm at, or if I somehow can get to a con where you're at, I would gladly go ahead and do one in person as well.
oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love to get out that way because that would just be more exposure for Monty.
That is
And then
true.
on top of it, this year I'm going into making my own half suit. It's going to be purple, white, two different colors of purple, white with black markings. It's going to be a leopard, and
Okay.
his name is Amethyst, the Lepidolite leopard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got like pictures of him that I've drawn. They're not the best, but it's concept art, and concept art changes all the time.
That it does. Besides, doesn't matter if it's the best or the worst. If you have pictures of something for a reference that you know what you're talking about and what you can see, that's all that matters.
And I got somebody on Etsy. They made me a 3D printed head with movable jaw, so I have that. And my BFF, she wanted to get into making tails, so she's making Amethyst tail, and I'm going to be making the head and the paws. I don't know if I'm going to be doing feet or if I'm just going to be wearing sneakers with him. But over time, it could change, and I could make feet for him.
You could actually do a combination of both.
That's
you
what
can
she
go ahead and use his old. Yeah, you can use some old sneakers and build the feet around them.
Because she does all of Monty's side bags and all his crocheted stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because her half suit furry, she crochets a bunch of tops for her furry.
Nice.
She taught herself on from videos on YouTube, and her furry is named Cotton the Candy Kitten. And if anybody ever looks at my Facebook page, you'll see her. She'll pop up every so often.
Okay. Definitely going to have to check that out. And for anyone else who wants to go ahead and do so, make sure to check out his socials. I mean, you saw how it looked. I mean, you had a little bit of the half suit, but a full suit. You had the fuller version of the full suit. You had different variations of Monty.
Yeah, I have.
And that's a good thing right there, So you had the different options. You felt what actually was good for you, what worked, and what you felt comfortable with.
Yep.
So you have the Planet Comic Con right there. Was you considered your favorite? But let me ask you this: what was one of your favorite experiences aside from the one that you mentioned earlier with Mickey James?
One of my favorite experiences was last year. I was looking around at different cons and where I could go and where I could get Monty out at.
Okay.
And I'd seen down in Guthrie, Oklahoma, they were starting a new convention called Guthrie Con Fandom Festival. I went and met and put on their page that Monty would like to come out and he would like to experience it. Well, about like a week later after I did that, they commented on it, or I can't remember if they commented or if they messaged me. No, they commented on it and said, "Hey, could you message us?" I'm like, I've never had anybody say they want me to message them that is in with the con or running a con. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'll message them. I messaged them, and they're like, how would you like to come down to Guthrie and be a featured cosplayer at our con and have your own booth? And I was like, hell yeah, I'll do that. And that was my first. That was my first after the 12 years. Well, at that point, the 11 years that I'd been doing cosplay, that was the first time I'd ever been a featured cosplayer, and I loved it. And they all loved Monty as well because it was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that Friday down in Guthrie at like right above this mixed martial arts studio, they have a dance floor, and they did a dance party on that Friday night, and then they did one on that Saturday night.
Very cool.
And they're doing it again this year, and they want all of us cosplayers that were featured. They want us all back again for year two. They want to try and make GuthrieCon something big in the future.
Nice. Now you were talking about one of the cons, the Tokyo OK.
Oh yeah.
And that's actually in a month that I don't have anything else going on, so I'm thinking about seeing if I can actually make it out there.
Well, if you can, what I'm doing is there. I messaged on, or I put in the Oklahoma Cosplayers group on Facebook that Monty, with all the love that everybody's shown Monty, I wanted to give back. I wanted to give back to the fans, to his adoring fans, with like giveaways. And what I have for giveaways right now, they have Lego has like this animal set of their little Lego minis, and I have taken an app that I found online and scanned the little QR codes, and I've gathered up I think like 5 or 6 now of the kitty cats, and with certain cons, I'm going to put a little question that I'm going to have everybody try and guess. They get like one guess if they come up to me and see me, but it's going to be Monty's favorite food. And if somebody guesses right, then I'm going to hand them that little kitty cat as a prize to give back to my fans. And then on top of it, when I messaged in that group in the Oklahoma cosplayers, I put that I wanted to give back to my fans, and I wanted to do something with like a nonprofit organization and do like a fundraiser that gives back to like the underprivileged youth. And somebody messaged on there, put a comment on there, and said, "Hey, my daughter is in the spectrum, and she would like to meet you." So I got talking to her, and she's going to be there at Tokyo OK in Tulsa, and I'm going to be making a between now and then, I'm going to be putting together a care package. And I think if I can get a hold of these other cosplayers that were talking to me, they might want to contribute to that because they're not going to be able to get up to that convention. So they wanted me to have more stuff to give to that autistic to the mom in that autistic child.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I just thought, what's the best way I can give back?
Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing. I've wanted to give back. I've wanted to do stuff like that for a fundraiser or whatnot, but I've tried in the past, and I don't know. Either I'm really too new, or they just look at me like, "Nope, it's a scam."
Right.
It's disheartening, because you want to do good, but there's so many people that look at it like, no, it's not real.
Talking about something like being a scam or being something that people don't like. When I first started with Monty, I had to get over a big hurdle. People were trying to tarnish my name and trying to say that, i.e., I was a pedo. And then a lot of my friends that I have made in the 10 years before I became Monty came out and were saying online that no, he's not that. He'll never be that, and that's not him. And it was 2 different people that were saying that I was a pedo, and they shut him down really quick.
It's a shame, I mean, people get the misconception of a furry. Over the years, there's been many different variations, but a lot of people don't realize there are different groups. The actual name furry itself is not specific to one style. It's more along the lines of wearing the suit and the persona. But they just think of the negative a lot of times. And that's one reason like I wanted to make this show. You know, Cosplayers, furries, anyone can get on here and kind of set the record straight a little bit by explaining people what cosplay really is. The different styles. But yeah, it's hard out there.
Yep. I I still get it nowadays. Like I don't get the people saying that I'm a pedo anymore, but
That's good.
I get people looking at me because I've gotten so popular with Monty, and I've gotten my name out there so much that some people look at me and go, "Ew, that's Monty," or I get people just staring holes in my head. Even when I'm out in Kansas City with my BFF, me and her can feel eyes getting burned in the back of our heads.
Hmm.
Yeah, like they're the most popular uh cosplayer in Kansas stopped. She stopped, and her thing was the reason she stopped is because the cosplay community, she in her eyes, it was too toxic for her, and she couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I've recently heard a couple cosplayers up here that are thinking about doing the same thing because they're finding a lot of toxicity online, people talking to them, sending messages that are inappropriate,
I
and
just I'm doing
it sucks.
it. I just I just let it go in one ear, out the other, because I know who Monty is, and I know how much people love him. So I try my hardest not to let stuff like that bother me.
Well, that is a good thing. But there are people out there that it's a little harder. Because sometimes it's not just a few messages, sometimes it's a lot more. Sometimes it could be lewd, crude, and what they have to deal with, it makes it harder, because you kind of want to jump in and help them out, but at the same time you know that it's not quite your place to do that on a
No,
personal level. Just more along the lines, I can go ahead and show you support, but in the end it's their decision.
yeah. And another thing about that, like people getting hate and everything, I don't know why people do it, but they see like there's a lot of jealousy within the community, and I don't know why people do it. It's like, hey, if you put in let me say that again. If you put in whatever you're doing, the world will show you back what you've put into it. And I don't know why people go, I wish I was like him, or blah 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 blah, and they just say a bunch of hateful things, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you were to put in as much time as I've put in to being a cosplayer, then you might be up there with me. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's casual cosplay, of course. There's professional cosplay. There's those that get paid, those who just want to go ahead and go to events. There's so many different levels. I mean, just choose what's actually good for you and try your best.
Right. Like I've never gotten paid to do my cosplay, which I'm fine with that. More along the
Sorry.
lines of I don't do Monty doesn't do he tried doing cosplay contests, but the people who run them around my area don't like that I've had his suit commissioned and I haven't done any of it. So I let everybody else do the cosplay contests because Monty has his adoring fans that he loves, and every commission he goes to or event, he always gains new ones.
There you go. Yeah, it makes it hard with cosplay contests because there is that element where you have to make it yourself by a certain percentage,
Yeah,
which I get. But sometimes I think that it would be fun to have more or less not a cosplay contest, but maybe a fan showcase.
yeah.
Like what
That's
the fans like, what they see, and just for fun.
that, that's the good thing about pla-
Mm.
that's the good thing about Planet Comic Con. They have a sister con called Planet Anime, which was in November, this past November, and I went to it. It was my first one. My BFF, she met me up there in Kansas City, and we did that. And that Friday night when I got in, they did like a parade on stage, and all the cosplayers that wanted to be a part of it, and then they did one with the furries. So we just paraded across the stage, and everybody got to see their cosplays. I like that type of stuff.
Yeah. Parades are definitely fun. Get out there, show off, have fun. It's not like you're trying to do anything bad. It's just being, part of a group, having, enjoy.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times when I see on Facebook or, Instagram and people are posting, hey, I'm going to be here. Let's do a collaboration. Everyone who's dressed up the same kind of, genre, show or whatnot. Let's do a big thing.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. My throat is so dry. I apologize, everyone.
And one thing I would like to see more conventions do, if they're able to do it. I know furries have become more of a popular thing that people want to get into, but I think if it's more of a medium to big size convention, I think if you know or you think there's going to be a lot of furries coming out, I think they should do a furry cool off room, which has a couple fans where you can put your paws on top of the fans and your head, and you can down at tables and you can cool off.
That would be an amazing idea.
Because I was at Anthro Expo for my first time last year, and that's in Norman, Oklahoma. That's a furry convention, and that's where I first saw a furry cool off room. And then this year in 2025 at Planet Comic Con, they did it. They had a furry cool off room. Their room was bigger, and then their sister con, Planet Anime, did it, and they had a smaller room. So I think more conventions, seeing the more furry coming out, need to take hints from other conventions and do a furry cool off room to where we don't have people overheating.
That is actually a brilliant idea, but not just for the furry community, but also for a lot of other people who have those big suits on too, I might actually have to bring that up to a couple different people.
You should, because people having enough water and having a room where they can cool off and not be around all these heat, the body heat inside the main convention room, is an awesome thing. So they can cool off before they go back out and go perusing all the vendors and all the celebrities.
Now, I have noticed recently a few different cons that I've gone to, they've had coolers throughout the con, so you can actually go ahead and get water from different areas. And that's actually been brilliant, not charging, just
a bunch of them that I've been to, they do those big coolers that have water and ice in them, and they have the little spout on the front to where they have free water, and they go around to that room and they fill them up every so often. Because I know when I went to Intro Expo, almost every room had one of those little water coolers.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a nice change, because I remember going and there was nothing there, so when you wanted something to drink, you had to go buy something. But now the coolers are around, it makes it a lot easier, and especially enjoyable if you have little ones.
And then now, I remember back when I first started, like now going on 12 years, going in my 13th year, but I remember when I first started, they frowned upon me bringing like Gatorades and stuff inside my backpack. They would tell me, hey, you got to go back out to your car and you got to go take that stuff back out there. Now, when I go to big cons like up in Kansas City's good about going, go ahead. Because they don't want me to overheat, because they know who I am and they've seen me so much and they know that my suit's really hot, so they don't care if I bring my vitamin waters or if I bring something into the con.
Yep. It's a really good thing, though, because, a lot of people don't understand. You have a drink that maybe is actually something good for you as an emergency, but you're still going to go ahead and buy stuff there. And what if you have a medical condition where you need something like food on it, oh my gosh, I need to do something really quick. You need that there. Yeah.
Because
but it's nice.
You can't and wait for something. Because say like you have let's say you're diabetic and you need something
Exactly.
your blood sugar real quick. You have a candy bar inside your backpack. You take a bite of that, and you're good to go.
I have recently noticed that a few different vendors as well that I've gone to a couple cons, they've seen people that were struggling. Like you could see if the person is hungry or tired, and they're like, "Are you okay? Hold on a second." And they've got emergency stuff in their bags right there that they've been handing out to people.
Like
And
whenever
I thought that was beautiful.
whenever I go to a con, or if I'm doing an outdoor event, everybody's like, "Hey, you thirsty? Do you need water? We got water right here." I'm always getting a water bottle handed to me like all the time.
It's nice that we've come a long way, that we're actually helping other people out again, you know?
Yeah.
Now, you've gone to different cons there, and you're looking to go to Texas, of course, being a nice big change. But if you could take Monty anywhere in the world, where would you actually like to go?
If I could go anywhere, like, are you saying in the
I mean,
U.S.?
anywhere.
Okay, anywhere. Everybody's always told me, man, Japan, Tokyo, Japan loves their furries, and you would be a big hit if you were ever able to go. That's where I would go. I would go all over Tokyo, Japan with Monty
That would be awesome.
because they have one of my two of my favorite things. They have all their Pokemon stuff, and they have all their Super Mario Brothers stuff.
Well, they got plenty of stuff there. Different cities
Yeah.
outside of Tokyo, you know, as well.
Oh, yeah. Take pictures by some of their what is it? Those trees that I'm trying to think of the special trees they that have the blossom trees or whatever they call them.
Yep, the cherry blossom.
Yeah, cherry blossom trees. And
Yep.
And what's funny about this, my buddy Austin hit me back up to we were supposed to do it like last year. We were supposed to go out there, but he got a house, and I got bigger into being Monty to get Monty's name out there. I think in a couple of years we're going to try and plan on going out.
Well, best of luck on that part. I mean, it's a place I definitely want to go myself.
If I do go, I'm definitely bringing Monty with me. I can't go without him. I cannot go out without him because having pictures with him and all the people that would love to see him, just being out there walking with him would be amazing.
Agreed. Definitely. I apologize that my throat has just been so sore right now and dry. I am really sorry for everyone who has to listen to me. God, we've had so many different things we've talked about here, of course, from the transition of getting into cosplay to the furry suit, cons that you've gone to, you know, things that were actually, you know, very memorable, you know, all sorts of fun stuff. But you know, it's not something we'd like to talk about, but you know, it's on your mind too because you know it could help other people. But what was one of your worst?
One of my worst experiences? Huh. I'd have to think about that one.
For me, I went ahead and met a celebrity where I was trying to be nice and see if they would actually do a video call really quick because the person that really wanted to meet them had to suddenly go out of state to help out a friend. And I was going to pay for it, you know, like a meet and greet normally would. Not, you know, not ask for a signature myself, no picture, no nothing. Just, can you do this? But I still pay for it. And he slammed his hands down and goes, if they couldn't be here to meet me, they ain't a real fan. Hell no.
Well, I would say one of the worst experiences I've had is I don't like to name drop, so I'm not going to say anybody's name. But I had a cosplayer, and this person's I think still to this day might not like me, but I've had a said group within the cosplay community get me put in Facebook jail like twice, and then whenever I'm at said cons wherever they're at, they always like stare at me. I've tried to be nice, and it's just not working out. And it's like Every time I walk past this group or said person, I just smile and I keep on going. It's like I don't know why there's so much hate, but there is, and I don't like it. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's how they are or who they are.
Oh, I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
It's all right. I've gotten used to it. Everybody that knows me jokes about it because they know that I see this group or said person like at multiple cons.
Hmm. Yeah, but still, having to deal with something like that, especially when you're trying to have fun in a community that's supposed to be less toxic over the years, and having that still happen, it's not a fun feeling. Because even
No.
if it's not directed towards you specifically, and you're fine with it, other people around you could feel it, be associated with it, and it might be a bad experience for them as well.
Yeah.
So, which none of us want that ever to happen, especially with our fans or friends or anyone that we're talking to. We don't want them to walk in with a smile on their face and then be like, "What's going on? Oh, maybe I should just back off." You
Yeah.
know. Now, cosplay is supposed to be about expression, fun, inclusivity. And
Right.
at least a good portion of people still feel that way, but there's still that small sliver. Hopefully, we can change their minds.
Yep. I hope one of us out there can change everybody's mind for the positive because being in the cosplay community, no matter what cosplay you are or what part of the community you're in, if you are a cosplayer or if you're a event planner or if you're like some business, I would like for everybody to show love to everybody and not have any of this toxicity or any of this hate.
Agreed.
Because
Actually, go ahead.
Monty's mission statement is to show fun and love one smile at a time, and he loves the power of positivity.
I like that. That is brilliant. Well, we are coming close towards the end of the show right now. So here's the big question. I'd love to go ahead and ask everyone because of a diverse amount of people around the world, everyone's got their own feeling. So if you could give anyone out there who wants to be a cosplayer, is a cosplayer, or looking to change over to being a furry or vice versa, what would you give them as your best advice?
My best advice, what I tell everybody, because they always come up to me, like I said, they come up to me and they ask, "Hey, I want to become a furry, and how do I go about it?" I tell them, first off, draw out your idea. That could be for any cosplay, not just furry in general. Draw out your cosplay. Go on Etsy. Find some people. If you're not wanting to make it yourself, find somebody on Etsy that can commission whatever cosplay you want, i.e., superhero, anime, TV show, furry wise, and have somebody commission it for you. But if I'm talking furry wise, like I said, don't go into full suit furry. Get a head, paws, tail, and feet. But go and look at all the people that make cosplays on Etsy because Etsy is where all the cosplay makers. That's where they try to sell their stuff. I push Etsy big time because that's where I've gotten a lot of my stuff from.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. It doesn't matter whether it's a cardboard, duct tape, or a
Talking
commission
about
suit. $1,000, 200.
talking
If
about
you're happy
cardboard,
with
talking
what's
about
that?
cardboard before we end. Talking about cardboard.
Hmm.
When I was at Depertov, I was one of the judges for the kids cosplay contest, and they were when one of the big winners. He was a robot, and it was all out of cardboard. He even had the little thing sticking up on the top of his square head that looked like electricity going across. Yeah, he was awesome, and it was all made by
Nice.
him and his parents.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Oh, it's been awesome.
I'm glad you feel that way. Appreciate that.
Yep. Monty
And of
Mint
course,
says to all our fans and your fans, I hope you guys have an awesome Saturday.
Much appreciated. And of course, for everyone else out there, like, subscribe, share, let everyone know. Message me if you're interested on the show, if you have a question or anything. I'm looking to go to different cons, so I'll be out there mingling with a lot of you guys. So just feel free to, see me there, reach out. I'll gladly go ahead and, support, help out, and have fun. But until then, have a great night, everyone. And remember, if you can dream it, believe, create. Have a great night.